And that's it with the cabinet. Sweet, they're all done. I mean, it turned out pretty nice. One thing on this floor, it's been creaking in spots, and way back when, years ago, when I was building this thing, I was like, oh, I'm going to use nails instead of screws to make things faster. But now, a couple years later, the floor creaks in spots, so I'm just going to go along, hammer it back in, and screw it down, and try that out. One spot that was creaking real bad at the beginning of the year, I just hammered it down, it stopped creaking. So I think just after, a while, these nails just kind of get loose. So I'm going to go screw them all in, and then I'll be ready for putting in the floor, I think. I'm going to look at some spots that might need some leveling, but other than that, the floor's coming soon. Yesterday I got this floor all done. I re-screwed everything in. Now my floor is really sturdy because it's half metal with all these screws and nails in it. But it feels good, so I think that helped out. I'm ready to put floor down probably. I'm going to check some spots if they need floor leveler. But I thought I'd slow down and make a list of what I need, because I still need to do a lot. I need to get all these sides to the cabinets. Get those glued on, get countertops, a kitchen sink I still need to get, and something I'm really bummed about is the shower. I didn't really plan this very well at all, because I've never really planned out a shower or anything. This is going to be easy for the vanity. I mean, those just kind of little cabinets slip in place, but this one, I figured out 36 by 36 square is standard, and I'll just, find one, with a drain in the middle. And this drain's really it's not really in the middle anyways. I measured it now. It's 18 inches out one way, but the other way is 16 and a half. And so trying to find a pan that, will work with this without redoing my pipes. I'm just like, I really don't want to redo my pipes, but that's my dilemma right now. So if you're planning out your cabin and stuff, think about that way ahead of time, because, some of these you direct mount right to the studs. And so of course I already drywalled, so I want to, glue on type. So you're limited then at what types you're getting and what kind of pans, and so anyways, I'm gonna sit around and do some thinking about what exactly I need. I also need a water heater. I got to get a water heater for my closet in here. I need to get a well pump and pressure tank, and get that for the well house. So I got a lot of little stuff I got to get going on, but man, I'm still waiting on that siding. It's dang, it's Labor Day weekend now, and so I got to call them again and see if there's any plan, but I might have to rethink my whole siding. But it's, September now, so it's getting kind of late in the year to rethink things. The outside too, I still need to put up the R5 insulation, put up the vinyl siding. I still need some kind of trim around my windows and door. And paint those, put on the skirting, and I got to build the front, deck, porch thing with steps. So I'm like, wow, man, I got to get moving fast. Giddy up. You know it, another day, another trip to Home Depot. So just got back. Whew, sweet. I'm set on my cabinets here because I was debating on what to do with the countertops, and I got this stuff, man. This is really nice looking butcher block stuff. I'm going to cut it at an angle, and I got another piece down here to go in there. So, that it was only like, it was like $220 for that big one, and like $180 for the other one. So it was like, $400 to do my countertops, and so I thought that would look really nice in here anyways, kind of cabiny. The other, kind of cut pieces you could buy of the laminate stuff, would have worked fine for this 8 foot, would have worked perfect, but this little section I got right here is kind of not standard. It's really small, so they don't have a piece that would match that, so I'd have to start cutting laminate. And besides, this stuff looks nicer anyway, so that's what I went with for that. And I also got another cabinet to go right up in here. I thought it would kind of make everything more uniform looking, and there's plenty of space for a fridge, but really there's not really enough room for a 36-inch fridge right there. So, but I never wanted to get a huge fridge anyways. And I also got some of my my trim out there, so I can finish up the trim, so it's ready to go for the R5 installation. Whew! Oh, wait a minute, that's not all. I got all these little side pieces too. And then those will just go up onto these edges right here to cover the edges. So I mean, it's like matched, you know, grain and everything. This is for the bottom pieces there. So I'm ready to go. And it was kind of funny. I was there, I'm like, well, what kind of glue do you use? And they're like, well, I don't know, like probably just maybe wood glue. And so they got, you know, 3 different people. One showed me a movie, you know, to watch on her screen there to see what they use, and they never did it. She went and asked like a 4th person, and he said, yeah, just wood glue. So I got a big thing of wood glue. I'm gonna try to probably put it on there and kind of use some kind of putty knife or something to kind of smooth it out. Seems like you'd want some kind of spray, I would think, but I'm gonna go with that, see how it looks. Hey, so that first piece I cut, I was using that big level as a guide, and it kind of goes in a little bit, and broke off my knife blade in there, and it really kind of ruined the piece. It wasn't a smooth cut, but normally, I mean, I use my other level, and I mean, you can get a really nice cut. You can just keep going over your cut and cut right through this stuff, just with the regular blade. So. And that's it for gluing this stuff up there. I'm not big on this glue just because it has a, you know, real long set time. And I mean, what are you gonna do? Like sit there holding it for like half an hour, which I'm holding it like at least about 10 minutes probably. But I mean, that's a long time to hold it. But looks awful nice when you get these in place. Okay, and here's a piece I just cut right now. Just fits right in there, just glued in place. Whew, nice. Hey, so these faces I did yesterday went up really nice, but today, not so nice. So this big one right here, I mean, you know, it's hard to get the edges on, so these edges are all coming up here. This whole bottom is popping out, and I mean, you know, once you get it on there, it's like, how do you get glue in there now? And so my advice doing these would be like, whenever you do these edges, do those before you even put the cabinets in place, because then I could have put this thing, you know, on its side. I could have you know, put it on the top, glued it, and then put weights on it and clamp it down. But as it is, I mean, you know, you can't really clamp on the sides. And so anyways, I never knew that, you know. And then the one over here today, this one right on the edge popped out. So I've been holding it for 20 minutes, you know, and that's the problem with this, putting it up like this. I mean, you know, the glue takes so long to set that, I mean, basically, you know, this edge popped out. And I mean, you know, once it pops out, I mean, you just gotta sit there and hold it forever and hope it holds. And if it doesn't, you know, how do you get glue in back there now? So, you know, really, boy, if you put all these faces on before you put your cabinets up, I think it'd be a lot easier, you know, next time if I ever do cabinets again. Yeah, that's a better way to do it. Hey, and so measuring this out, I measured, you know, the line where I wanted. It was like 54 inches. But, and then I measured my saw there to see how far over the blade would go if I rested up against this level. And so it was like 4 5/8 inches. So I drew another line back 4 5/8 inches. So when I rest the saw on this edge, it should line up perfect, hopefully. But anyways, this is my practice cut. Hopefully it'll work out. Duh, I just have to go the other direction, and those vices won't hit my saw motor. Actually hot out today. Phew. That cut went pretty well. So I got this one, this side is all cut at the angle and the right length. And so what I did now is I cut this one already. That was the first cut I did. So it's sized this way. So now I just lined them up where I wanted them, and then drew a line with the pencil right here. So then I'll take this one, this is a full piece right here. So I'm gonna take this one out and I'll cut it along that line. But I thought it would be better to do it this way, just in case, you know, everything wasn't really, you know, square, rather than just cutting 245s. I thought this way might give me a little bit straighter of a cut. Who knows? Hey, so there we go. It turned out really nice. Pretty tight seam. I mean, it's got a little bit of a gap on, you know, both ends there, but I'm gonna have a backsplash anyways. I'll cover it up. So anyways, totally happy with my my cut there. You know, it's kind of stressful cutting you know, a $200 piece of wood, and it's like, oh man, if I cut it wrong, it's gonna blow my $200 piece of wood. So anyways, it's nice to get those stressful cuts out. I mean, there's a tiny gap there, but put in a little wood filler, it'd be super. And I did have to say this after I got my, you know, countertop all in and everything. I really looked at the instructions here, and it actually says it must be sealed within all. It must be sealed or finished on all surfaces within 24 to 48 hours of removing shrink wrap. So, I mean, come on. I'm not ready to really seal this thing within 24 to 48 hours. I mean, I just cut it, like, for goodness sakes. I kind of ripped off plastic last night just to look at it, you know, what the surface looked like. But, I mean, that is pretty silly. I mean, so, and it says all surfaces too. So I was just gonna, I was gonna lift this up, glue it down, and just leave it. That was it, glue it. But if it says you gotta finish all surfaces with, like, you know, a mineral oil or something, then how's the glue gonna stick to that, really? You know, so now I'm like, what? So kind of odd. It looks really very pretty, but I'm not sure about the use and care instructions. Kind of odd. What a downer of a day, I'm telling you. It seems like just things are not going right at all today. So I'm still having problems with this shower, you know. Dang, I wish I planned it better, but, you know, so I planned on a 36-inch shower and it being 18 inches in the middle for the drain, but it's really not that way for, you know, the stuff you can buy with doors and everything. So now my issue is the only thing I can really fit in here, since it's going to be a corner stall. I mean, I can't have the door really open this way because there's a toilet there, and I really can't have the door open this way because there's going to be a sink here, right? So now I can only get these kind of round semicircle ones. But the thing is, now I'm worried. So, you know, it's a 36-inch shower, but the semicircle goes out like from it. It's not like, you know, even with that 36 inches. So if it goes out too much this way, then this is going to be too close to the toilet. It's got to be 15 inches here and 15 inches from the wall. You know, the shower's got to be a minimum size. You know, your sink's got to have enough space in front of it. Your toilet's got to have 21 inches in front of it. And then I was looking at, you know, just bathroom and stuff you got to do. And it said, you know, one side said I need a 32-inch door for a bathroom. But it's like, this is going to be a 30-inch door. Because it's a tiny place, you know. I'm trying to get everything small. But so, you know, if that fails at the very end, I mean, what do? You can't, you know, redo all your header and all your walls. I mean, so... wow, what a bummer. So I guess if worse comes to worse, I'll just take off my doors, and the space is 32 inches. And then after the inspection, put back in my door, I guess. But so that isn't going well. And then these butcher blocks are just beautiful. But I mean, I was reading the directions. I was going to, you know, caulk this thing in. I already put mineral oil on it. I was going to kind of glue it in on all these things, but then I was reading, it says, you know, you're not supposed to glue it, you're not supposed to caulk it in place, just like use 4 screws. But I don't know, I would think caulk would give more for expansion than 4 screws. But you know, this thing's really got nowhere to screw into except maybe up through the bottom through here, but there's nothing in the back or anything to screw to. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, you know, I thought it'd be great, but I mean, it looks super. But another problem, I was putting my sink in, but since this is 1.5-inch thick countertops, all the supports to hold the sink on, they don't fit now because they're designed for a, you know, a 1/2-inch countertop. So like that's not going super either. But like, what's really bad is the siding. So Lowe's manager is supposed to get back to me today. They still haven't given me a date. And I said, you know, I just need to know, is this stuff coming or not coming? I mean, you know. So after, you know, 3.5 months of waiting on Lowe's, I tried to order it. I looked at Home Depot. They said they can't get it before November. Online, I found it on eBay, but they just order from the factory and a truck delivers it. So they're just middleman. They said typically, you know, 2 to 3 weeks before it's shipped. But I mean, if it's 4 weeks, that's going to be too late. It's going to be into the snow. So now I'm like, wow, what do I do with this place, you know? You know, I got all this R5 insulation here. I'm sitting here, but look at this stuff is just, I mean, just thrash from sitting out here. And I mean, gosh, if I just even, I just put my paint can on here and it, you know, leaves rings. These are just raindrops have dented this. So I'm picturing like when I put my ladder against this, I mean, I'm going to have like huge dents in this everywhere. So I don't know. It's just really unimpressive stuff. And so the problem is, if I'm not going to be able to side it before winter, do I put this R5 insulation up now and then cover it with Tyvek? Or do I just, you know, leave it as it is, cover it with Tyvek and do the R5 next year when I get the siding? Or so I'm just like, wow, I don't know what to do. But thing is, if I put up all this R5, right, then I'm going to have to put ladders against it, you know, when I'm putting the wrap on over top of it, and then I'll have to, you know, put ladders again next year to take it off, and then ladders to do the trim on these windows. So I don't know if I really should put the R5 insulation on. And then I was going to start cutting all my trim here, but again, I had the wrong blade for my table saw, and it's not cutting well. But see, I need to put this trim up like this, so then I put the J channel right underneath it for the vinyl, and then of course the insulation is going to sit flush with this. But if I put all these pieces on right now, and then I cover it up with the wrap for next year, then all these spots are going to stick out, and then the wrap won't sit close. So I really don't want to put those on yet, but I wanted to put those on before I put the R5 insulation on. Otherwise I'd put ladders against it, so gosh dang it, I'm just kind of at a loss today what I'm going to do. So this is just trial and error on this piece. So I had to cut a piece here for the vent that goes up in, and to hold air for the electrical to go through. But my vent pipe up there is kind of too far to this side, so I have to cut this out more to fit the pipe going over, but then I cut into the back right there, so I'm kind of ticked, but you won't see it anyways. I'm going to cover everything up with a box, but it's just like I don't know much about venting, so it's kind of a pain to get that to offset to line up with your new one. So anyways, just a lot of trial and error. I'll figure it out sooner or later. So I finally got that thing in there. Boy, what a pain in the butt. There's a ceiling joist right there, so I didn't really have a choice to, I had to put it off center. But that barely made it. Otherwise, I don't know what I would have done. But anyways, it's totally good enough for me. I'm going to get some screws in there and tape it up. Call it good. I might start finishing up these cabinets today. Hey, so it turned out pretty nice after it's all screwed and taped. The only thing I don't like is this new tone fan I got. I mean, at the edges, it kind of like bows down on the edges. This thing's up there like super tight, but it bows down. So on this edge right here, it's got this gap now, and there's no way I can get that up higher, it just bows down that way. So I don't know, maybe I'll try to figure out some little piece of trim or something to put on that. But anyways, I think I'm good to go for the fan. I'm going to start building a little box for that top. I got to figure out what exactly I want to do for that, but that's what I'm going to do now, is the box. Alright, so I'm going to show you how I'm going to build this little box to cover that vent up there. And so I already cut my pieces with the knife, and then I cut a couple little pieces to kind of build a little frame around them. So here's what I'm going to do. I've got my my little brad nailer. It's like an 18 gauge with 5/8 inch nails in it, brads in it. It's real small, tiny nails. It's good for nailing this stuff up. But anyway, so I got that ready to go, and I'm going to go up top, and I'm going to put this piece, this is going to be the edge, and I'm going to put this piece in there, and then I'm going to put this one kind of against it, and then I'm going to lift it up towards the ceiling. And when it's all flush with the ceiling, then I'm going to pow, pow, pow. I'm going to nail that piece in. And so this piece, is the front, and this piece is going to be, you have to cut this one, this piece a little short to allow for these side pieces to fit in. So anyways, I'm going to put, again, this up top. I'm going to put this in and lift it up towards the ceiling, and then I'm going to nail this one in. And so once it's all like nailed in like that, if you still got like a gap left up at the ceiling, like it's not sitting all the way flush against the ceiling, you can just take some shims and just stick some shims under there before you nail these edges together. So this is going to overlap right here, just like that. and then I'm gonna just pow, pow, pow. Put a few nails in there, and I'll probably put a little edge to cover up the little seam here. I'll probably put a little corner edge on. We'll see. Right on, got my little box done. It looks pretty nice. Zoom in on it. So there you go, hides the vent and everything, matches the rest of it. Yeah, it's all set. So now I'm probably gonna do a little sanding and get ready to start staining this. And that little nail gun really works good for, remember this edge of this cabinet wasn't glued on good, and that whole corner was coming off, so I just use my little nail gun, pow, 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 and you know, it nails it right in. Then I'll come back and you know, just put a little wood putty in those, good to go. Great news today. The manager from Lowe's called up and said my order was shipped the 14th, which was like 2 days after I called the manager and was like, hey, where's my order? So she must have told them, and they shipped the order the next day. So it's coming from Canada. So there's the holdup. But anyway, supposed to be here in about 3 weeks. So there's still time to get my outside done this year. I'm like, wow, this is amazing. So I just gave up yesterday. I moved my whole stack of R5 insulation into my shed here because I figured, boy, it's going to be winter time soon, and I gotta look at this pile I got in here. It's crazy. So anyways, so I just put all this away figuring I'm not going to be able to get this done this year, and so now switching plans. I'm gonna you know, start working on this outside, get it ready to go, so when I get that siding I can just plug away on it. So anyways, so now I'm gonna kind of switch plans, I think, from the inside to back on the outside. Hey, and something about this insulation, you know, those top pieces they put on there must have been like, you know, months old and just sitting in the sun baking before I even got them. That's why it was like terrible, like pushing on it, and it was just making all these dents. But once I got these newer pieces, you know, I took off the top piece and looked at the other pieces, they were a lot better. You know, they weren't as squishy, and so anyways, I think it was just those top pieces that, you know, I was looking at that I was like, man, this stuff is awful. So now I'm a little more confident in this stuff. Sweet, so I'm all done with all my cabinets now. I didn't bother filming that because you can't see it anyways. It's like I use this natural color wood stain, and I use this polyacrylic finish on it. I did 2 coats of this and 2 coats of this. And I got a clear satin. I don't like really real shiny cabinets, so that's why I got you know, a satin finish rather than a semi-gloss. But they turned out great, you know, and so I'm gonna get this countertop in and finish these up. Hey, and putting this countertop on here, I know that this butcher block stuff said don't glue it, don't silicone it, but you know, there's really nothing to really screw to on this thing. I mean, in all honesty, you can screw here. You can't really screw here because there's that bottom of the drawer, and you can screw there, but you know, something like this you can't screw up because you got this board piece in there. So that, you know, in the back here, there's no way you can screw back there. And it also says on the corners you should use these corner ties to kind of squeeze together the corners but again, you can't really get on the bottom there to do that. So I'm going to put like a little bit of silicone in the corner there, so food doesn't get in there. And I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the back here. I'm not going to glue the entire thing, just a little bit in the back, and maybe on the very edge here, because again, they don't have any screws in it or anything. So, and then I'm going to put a couple screws in the front here and call it good. Hey, and I did get some of this hemlock right here today. I'm just going to use this as a backsplash, so I'm just going to stain this and just like the cabinets, and then I'm just going to put this as a backsplash. Maybe put a little caulk underneath it so water doesn't get down, but that's my big plans for a backsplash. Not too fancy.